With its stunning cinematography, beautiful costumes, and stellar music, La La Land had all the ingredients to win Best Picture for 2017.
La La Land.
I'm sorry. No. There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won.
Too soon? No, but really, I believe that La La Land will be considered, and already is considered, a classic to many. It's such a beautiful movie with beautiful themes and productions, and after watching it a few times, it is definitely one of my favorites. Now, before we get into it, I'm just going to make a few very quick disclaimers. First, all the clips shown here are being used under the Copyright Act. The Copyright Act allows the use of materials from a copyright-protected work, literature, musical scores, audiovisual works, etc., without permission when certain conditions are met. People can use fair dealing for research, private study, education, parody, satire, news reporting, or in my case, criticism and review. Second, these are all my own opinions, and the great thing about film and what I love about it so much is that it's so subjective, and there are so many other amazing opinions out there. I'd love to hear all your guys' thoughts on this movie and any others I should review. And third and finally, I'm going to leave some timestamps in the description box below, so go check that out. Now let's get started. La La Land follows Mia, who was initially going to be played by Emma Watson, who turned down the role for Belle in Beauty and the Beast, so instead was played by Emma Stone, and Sebastian, who is played by Ryan Gosling, who turned down Beauty and the Beast to be in La La Land, if that makes sense. Anyways, both are on their own journey in Los Angeles to achieve what they want to do in their life. For Mia, that's a successful acting career, and for Sebastian, to open his own jazz club. They are drawn to each other by this, by the passion they both have for their future, and can relate to one another's longing desire for their dreams to come true. However, as the film progresses, they face many obstacles both as a couple and in their careers, and ultimately must make a choice that will impact their future greatly. Okay, now let's get into the backstory of this movie. I actually think it's very interesting. Believe it or not, director and writer Damien Chazelle originally had this idea back in 2010. Chazelle wanted to, quote, take the old musical and ground it in real life where things don't always exactly work out. And personally, I think that he achieved this better than anyone could have expected, especially at such a young age. He drew from classics to help inspire him with the screenplay, cinematography, and honestly everything else. Some films he drew inspiration from are 42nd Street, 1933, Singing in the Rain, 1952, and The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, 1964. Whether that be the dance sequences, the score, or just framing shots, Chazelle paid tribute to many films, including these ones. For years he struggled to get his idea picked up, because at the time he was kind of an unknown director and no studio wanted to pick up such a contemporary musical and take the risk. He was offered a small budget to make the film, however, the studio required him to rewrite too many things, and he basically declined because he didn't want to make those alterations, and thank God he did, because we wouldn't get the movie we had today. He moved on from that and went to write and direct Whiplash in 2014, which gained him critical acclaim and received 5 Oscar nominations and winning 3, those being Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Best Film Editing, and Best Sound Mixing. This gave Chazelle the backing he needed to then go out and get the proper budget and creative freedom to make La La Land. In 2015, 5 years after his idea was originated, Summit Entertainment and Black Label Media picked up the project and agreed to distribute it. So as I said before, there were some last-minute casting changes. So Emma Watson and Miles Teller were originally to lead the movie. However, both had to leave due to other film obligations. So Chazelle ended up casting Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, and honestly, after watching this movie so many times, I couldn't imagine anyone else in the roles. Both performances are honestly so amazing, and their chemistry was unmatched. Chazelle also brought on amazing talent as the supporting cast, including John Legend, J.K. Simmons, Finn Wittrock, and Jessica Roth. He then needed the rest of his production team to make his vision come true. He brought on cinematographer Lena Sundgren, choreographer Mandy Moore, costume designer Mary Zofries, production designers David Wasco and Sandy Reynolds Wasco, composer and college friend Justin Hurwitz, with lyrics by Pasek and Paul, and editor Tom Cross. This powerhouse of a team made the film the best it could ever be. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival's opening night on August 31st, 2016, and has since been considered an overall amazing film. It did receive some criticism, though, on the fact that Sebastian's character is considered to be the, quote, white savior for jazz, a traditionally black music genre, and also some on the fact that the movie can be a little dull at certain moments. It was nominated for 287 awards and received 242. And even though, in my opinion, awards are not the end-all be-all and do not always amount to talent, I was still proud, okay? I'm allowed to be happy for one of my favorite movies to win some awards. It was nominated for 14 Oscars and took home 6. Them being Best Actress in a Leading Role, Best Cinematography, Best Written Music for the Score, Best Written Music for the Song City of Stars, Best Production Design, and Best Director, making Damien Chazelle the youngest to win in that category ever. Okay. Now that the backstory is done, let's get into my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on La La Land. And again, these are all my own opinions, and I'd love to hear yours down below. And this part is unscripted, so I'm sorry if I ramble on for a little bit, but yeah, let's start. Okay, so now that we're off the script, I can kind of just ramble for a little bit. I'm first going to talk about technically what I love about this movie. For me, I just think that it was all brought together so amazing. I guess, and the whole vibe of the movie, the whole, tone and vibe of the movie was really amazingly brought together, from the amazing cinematography, to the music, to the costumes. Nothing felt out of place. It felt like you were transported into a whole new different world, and I think that's what can make movies so amazing, is being brought into a whole different world and kind of take you out of reality for a bit. So I think that was so amazing that it was able to do that so seamlessly. I also really like how Damien Chazelle does his camera work. I know that in Whiplash, which I actually haven't seen yet, he uses a lot of whip pan movements with the camera, and he did that in a certain scene with Ryan Gosling playing the piano and Emma Stone dancing on the dance floor, and I just really love his camera work, and it made the whole movie just feel alive. I don't know what it was about it. I just felt like the movie was alive and living, and it just really gave me a lot of joy to watch this movie. And just the editing in general, I think that 2016 and 2017, for me personally, are some really strong years in film. You have so many amazing movies that came out in those 2 years, and I think La La Land was really able to differentiate itself from the crowd and kind of give Damien Chazelle kind of like a name for himself. He already was doing so well with Whiplash, but I think it really boosted his, mark in the industry, and I think that he is a very unique director, and I think he knows what he wants. He's very strong-minded, and I really appreciate him, first of all, not settling for a smaller budget. I appreciate that he went and fought it out. He didn't just settle for a small budget and change things. He said, no, I'll wait, and I want to make this movie how I want to make it, because I have a vision, and I like that he stuck through with his vision, and you can see that so clearly. You can see his vision, on the screen, and I think it's so amazing, and I know that he has worked with Tom Cross before on Whiplash, so obviously there's amazing communication between the two of them, because I think between the editing, the cinematography, just the costume design, production design, the directing, I think it was just all so seamless. I don't know exactly how it was on set, but the final product is so seamless that, to me, it seems like it was just such good communication behind the scenes, and that is honestly so amazing. The last thing that I want to do is actually compare the 2 different times I watched La La Land. I watched it when I was younger, and I watched it this past April. And I kind of wanted to compare and contrast what I thought after watching it each time, because I remember after watching it the second time how I was like, wow, I have such a different perspective on this movie. And I think it's so much, first of all, better than what I thought it was when I was younger. So I just want to quickly run through that. So first of all, I obviously did not appreciate how technically amazing this is, the technicality of it all. I was kind of just like, oh, pretty colors, it's nice, I like it, the story was fine, whatever. But I don't think I really appreciated how much I just love the cinematography and the music. Of course I loved the music when I was younger, but the acting, the editing, the camera work, all the colors, and how it's so seamlessly brought together. I didn't really appreciate that when I was younger because I didn't have the same perspective that I have now on movies and watching so many. It's so interesting to watch another movie and like watch it again and have a different perspective on everything, you know? Another thing is the character of Sebastian, played by Ryan Gosling. I kind of thought that he was a fine person. He was a fine character when I was younger. I was like, oh, he's fine. It's okay. But watching it again, he is very arrogant, you know? He has a very different, mindset than I thought he did when I first watched it. And I think that character in general, watching it when I was younger, I didn't really understand his motives and understand like who he was as a character. But watching it again, I definitely did not like his character as much as I did when I was younger. So that was really interesting. Mia, however, I really love Mia. I think that now I relate to her a lot more, having very similar goals and dreams, and I really liked her character. I really like how Emma Stone played the character. I'm very happy she won her Oscar for that. I think she did amazing. Her singing, she's so talented. I just really loved the character, and I found so much meaning within the character. I was able to relate to her, and this is what I used to think, this is what I used to do, this is what I want to do, So I think that was really cool to finally relate to that. And finally, when I was younger, I hated the ending. I didn't understand, spoiler alert, right now, spoiler alert, I did not understand why they couldn't be together. I didn't understand why they couldn't work it out. I didn't understand any of that. I thought, well, this sucks, this sucks. I want a happy ending. Movies like this are supposed to have a happy ending, but as Chazelle said, he kind of wanted to put it in the real world where, there isn't really, it doesn't really work out how it's supposed to. And I think the ending, watching it again, the ending, the only way I can describe it is heartbreakingly beautiful. Because I know what it is to love something so much, and you have to make the choice. And I think just that in general, a lot of people, especially me when I was younger, I didn't understand that. I hadn't gone through anything like that. I thought, well, they should just figure it out. But you can't always figure it out. You sometimes have to make the sacrifice, and you just have to go for what you want in life, if that's your dream, your whole life. And I think it's so heartbreakingly beautiful, and that's the only word I can use to describe this movie, hence the title of this video. And I think that having two different perspectives on the movie is so cool to me, because I remember what I used to think about the movie and how I didn't like the ending and how I thought this movie was bad because the ending didn't make sense to me. But now watching it again, having a whole new perspective on life, I understand the ending, and I understand what it takes, and I understand what you must do to achieve certain things in life. And I think it's so beautiful, and I think he ended the film amazing, and I think that if they would have ended together, it wouldn't have impacted me as much. Overall, I think that La La Land is an incredible film, and I'm gonna rate movies, and I honestly give it a 10 out of 10, so this is a great start to this channel. Technically, like on a technical level, this movie is everything I love and everything I want, and for me, there was never a dull moment. It always keeps you on your feet, and you get excited for what's coming next. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and let me know what other movies you want to see from me next.